Hi everyone, in previous video I shared about how hearing aids with AI can help us to improve our hearing. I decided to create that video and share my experience because I've used hearing aids for about 20 years. And last time people started asking me, can AirPods Pro 2 with hearing health feature actually be used as hearing aids? And can they replace my experienced AI-powered hearing aids that cost thousands of dollars? Let's find out. I've been using AI-powered Starkey hearing aids, which are fantastic. But there's one small problem. Me. I've broken them. Twice. After the unfortunate incident where I shattered my left hearing aids into 100 tiny pieces, I realized it was time to replace the entire body. The repair company told me I need to wait a couple of weeks. So I thought, perfect opportunity. I'll buy AirPods Pro 2 and see how they work as hearing aids in my everyday life. Apple has actually been working on hearing enhancement feature for AirPods long before their Pro 2 generation, with features like live listen, conversation boost, and headphones accommodation. But now we have AirPods with a significantly improved processor that offers enhanced adaptive transparency and better conversation highlighting. All this allows the new AirPods Pro to function somewhat like hearing aids. Important disclaimer, they are not medical device, but they can definitely improve your hearing, and that's exactly what I'm going to share in this video. But before you can use AirPods Pro as hearing aids, you need to set them up properly. Because hearing aids doesn't just make sound louder. That's a common misconception. Usually when hearing declines, it doesn't decline equally across all frequencies. For example, I don't hear high frequencies well at all. You can see that on my audiogram. Quick explanation. An audiogram shows several frequencies and your hearing level for each of them. To ensure you hear clearly, hearing aids amplify the volume of specific frequencies that you find particularly challenging to perceive. AirPods Pro need this audiogram information to understand your hearing profile across different frequencies. To use your AirPods Pro as hearing aids, you need to add your audiogram. You can do this on your iPhone or iPad in two different ways. The first way is to take a hearing test directly on your device. Here's what it looks like. You sit in a quiet room, make sure your AirPods are worn correctly, and start the test. The AirPods will play sounds of different frequencies, gradually increasing the volume. Your job is to tap on the screen at the moment of you hear something. You'll do this for each ear separately. This allows the system to understand your hearing level across different frequencies. I was honestly impressed by how comfortable this experience was, very similar to visiting an audiologist. It only took me 6 minutes to get a new audiogram. Super convenient. The second way is to add your audiogram manually if you already have one from your doctor. Fun fact, the results from AirPods test were surprisingly similar to what I got when I visited my audiologist 3 years ago. Once you finish testing, you need to activate the Hearing Assistant feature. Inside the Hearing Assistant settings, you have several adjustments. Amplification. This controls the general volume. You can also adjust this in the control center. Balance. Adjust the balance between left and right ears. Tone. Make sound darker or brighter. Noise reduction. Works well with constant noise, but for me it behaves a little strangely, so I don't use it much. Conversation boost. This allows you to focus on the person talking in front of you, similar to hearing aids with 4 or more directional microphones. So, that's the setup. But how do they actually feel to wear? When I first started using them, they were very uncomfortable, even with the smallest silicone ear tips that came in the box. But after 2 days, I got used to them, and they became more comfortable. By day 3, I would even forget I was wearing them. However, after about 3 weeks of very active use, I started to feel pain on the outer part of my ear from the pressure that the back of the AirPods put on my skin. So when I finally got my hearing aids back after 4 weeks, I was actually relieved. I still use the AirPods, but not as frequently or for as long. The reason traditional and Canon hearing aids work better for me is that they're made specifically for my ear shape. Maybe my ears are on the smaller side, And you might have a better experience if you have larger ears or if you are always used to similar earbuds. In that case, you probably won't have this comfort zone. Either way, the comfort factor doesn't affect the sound quality or hearing enhancement capabilities. There are two main ways to use AirPods as hearing aids. First, listen to audio from your device, music, videos, calls. Second, listen to people you're talking with in person. Let me share my experience with each separately. When listening to content from my device, the sound is automatically adjusted to my specific hearing needs, boosting frequencies I struggle with. And when I first started listening to music this way, wow! I found myself going back to all my favorite sounds just to hear them again. It was absolutely fantastic. The music experience was just incredible. For me, it was like combining two different devices. My Marshall headphones, which are great for bass and low frequencies, and my hearing aids, which can deliver rich bass but provide very detailed high frequencies that are crucial for me. I even started watching YouTube podcasts without needing subtitles. This is why I had zero issue using AirPods instead of my hearing aids for online meetings. The calls with my teams and partners sounded great. Of course, I didn't suddenly start hearing absolutely everything, or hear dramatically more compared to my hearing aids, but I was seriously impressed. And I'm not alone, I've seen tons of positive feedbacks from people using AirPods Pro with hearing health features for music. People absolutely love them. So I highly recommend them for music, podcast, and online calls. Now, how do AirPods perform as actual hearing aids in the real world? The sound you get from real world is adapted to your specific hearing profile, boosting the frequencies you need, which can definitely improve your hearing experience. I use AirPods as hearing aids almost non-stop for 4 weeks during home routines, outdoor workouts, online chats, and in person conversation. Overall, it was pretty good. So they really work, right? Well, yes and no. The reason I wasn't completely thrilled is that AirPods couldn't fully replace my AI-powered hearing aids. It wasn't because the AirPod experience was terrible. It was actually better than I expected, but they don't work well in all situations. The first major issue I encountered was how AirPods react to sudden loud sounds. Hearing aids work by increasing volume even if only at certain frequencies. And in a quiet room, hearing aids always try to increase sensitivity to help you hear better. Now imagine someone accidentally hits a plate with a spoon. Normal hearing aids instantly recognize that a very loud sound is coming and immediately reduce the volume. This works like a limiter to protect your ears. AirPods try to do the same thing, but they react much slower. You see, in a quiet environment, AirPods try to pick up all the details of quiet sounds. When a loud sound happens, they activate their limiter to reduce overall volume for ear safety. But if the sound is very sudden, like a spoon hitting a plate, the volume reduction doesn't happen instantly. For a split second at the beginning, I hear a painful bass hitting in my ears. This is pretty unpleasant, and sometimes even painful. So, being in the kitchen with AirPods as hearing aids wasn't the best experience for me. This only happens in quiet environments. If you are already in a noisy place when a sudden sound occurs, the limiter is already engaged, so I don't feel any discomfort. The next major issue was performance in noisy environments. My AI-powered hearing aids don't just adapt volume to my hearing needs and reduce unnecessary noise. They actively highlight the volume of the person I'm talking to. AirPods don't do this. They don't empathize the specific voice you need to hear. This means all the sound often blend into one continuous noise. In this situation, it becomes very difficult to understand what someone is saying to you. A perfect example is a coffee shop. When I was in a busy cafe with lots of people around, coffee machine running, and street noise coming through the window, I simply couldn't communicate effectively with the person sitting across from me. I couldn't make out the words between the chaotic mix of background sounds. It was a complete jumble of noise. In movie theaters, the AirPods made it easy to hear the film overall, but dialogue didn't become much clearer because there was always some music and sound effects competing with the voices that I wanted to hear. Beyond sound quality, there's another practical consideration: battery life. My hearing aids can provide up to 16-20 hours of continuous use on a single charge, which includes 4-5 hours of headphone mode for online calls or watching YouTube videos. AirPods need to be charged every few hours, as I suspect the hearing enhancement feature drained the battery faster than normal use. The last thing I noticed was the frequency range covers compared to hearing aids. With very similar audiogram settings, my hearing aids try to cover the entire sound spectrum, low, mid, and high frequencies, with lots of detail. AirPods in hearing assistant mode seem to have a dip in the mid-range frequencies. I clearly hear the high and low frequencies, but the mids aren't boosted enough for my preference. Strangely, this isn't an issue when I listen to podcasts or YouTube. Then the sound is beautiful with all range covered. This suggests the sound enhancement principles are different, probably because AirPods use more aggressive but less intelligent noise cancellation. For those reasons, I happily returned to my hearing aids when they were repaired. If you are interested, you can watch my video about AI-powered hearing aids. The link is in the description below. Was my experience with AirPods bad? Not at all. I'm glad I conducted this experience. They gave me insights into what I expect from future hearing aid technology, especially regarding operation system integration. They perfectly replaced my hearing aids for online calls and content consumption. I truly enjoyed listening to music with them, and I still do, but as full-fledged hearing aids for in-person communication in the real world, they are not quite here yet. Still, this is only Apple's first serious attempt at hearing assistant. And they're quite impressive, especially considering they cost around $250 compared to my hearing aid, which cost over $4,500. So, if you have been curious about using AirPods Pro 2 as hearing aids, I hope this gives you a realistic picture of what to expect. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions about AirPods Pro or hearing aids in general, drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos on hearing technology.